Hi there, Keith here with another movie review. Every now and then you go to the movie theater and it's something bigger than just seeing a movie. You're going to see an event. For guys, we seem to have a couple events per year. Like, for example, we've got the Avengers movie coming out this spring, and then we've got the big Star Wars movie coming out later on this year. But for my female friends, there aren't that many events. They seem to be few and far between. But when they happen, it's great to see. So, for example, several years ago, there was Sex and the City. It was exciting to see what was going to happen bringing Carrie Bradshaw and her friends to the big screen. And I call it an event because when you'd go in, not only was the theater dominated by a large female population, but you're also seeing women coming out and having like these big girls' night out parties and these big Cosmo parties and showing up to the theater in limousines because it was exciting. Several years ago, we saw something similar with the Magic Mike movie starring Channing Tatum. Women were excited to see this man bear all and dance across the screen, and it was exciting. It got people, mainly women, excited about going to the movies. Well, we're going to see that again over the next coming weeks as 50 Shades of Grey, the best-selling book by E.L. James, has been made into a major motion picture. Now, if you've read this book, and I find that about 3, if not 4 out of 5 of my female friends have, you pretty much know what this book is about. But for those of you who haven't been initiated into the 50 Shades world, I don't want to give too much away, so let me leave it at this. Anastasia Steele is a literary student. She goes to interview this young billionaire, Christian Grey. An attraction develops between the two of them, a cat and mouse game develops between the two of them, and then they enter into an interesting relationship, we'll say. I commend the director of taking an X-rated book and making it into an R-rated movie. There are a lot of scenes that from the book that couldn't be transferred into the movie, and if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Because if they did, it pretty much would have been porn. In regards to the acting in this movie, I'm not going to sit here and say that this is Oscar caliber acting, but I was very impressed. Dakota Johnson, daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith, who plays Anastasia Steele, deserves to be commended for a fantastic job. To say that she was vulnerable in this role would be an understatement. What would be more profound is to say that she pretty much bared it all, literally and figuratively, on the big screen. I'm sure it wasn't easy going through these roles and not only having to act alongside Jamie Dornan and have the director calling out the shots, but probably having all the craft services people lurking around as well. But I think she did a fantastic job. I think Jamie Dornan did an awesome job as well as Christian Grey, but I think more of the attention will probably be and should probably rightfully be shifted towards Dakota Johnson's performance. And the director, taking a book that nobody has really come out and say was well written, but making it into a very easily watchable movie, again, should be commended for this role. This movie is not going to be for everybody. For those of you who know me, I live in Ottawa, one of the more conservative cities in Canada, and there were a few walkouts in this movie. Some people probably just didn't like the content and decided they were going to go home and do something else. Or then again, maybe they got all worked up and they wanted to go home and do something else. Nonetheless, I think this movie was pretty good, and again, adapting a book that is going to be so scrutinized onto the big screen probably wasn't an easy job, but I think they did a pretty good one. And to that end, I give this movie a B. Now, when Sex and the City came out and as women left, I'm sure they reflected upon their friendships and they played the game of, am I a Carrie, am I a Charlotte, am I a Samantha? And I'm sure when women left Magic Mike, they were all excited and they probably went home and played Pony about 50 million times. But I'm wondering how women will feel after they leave this movie. And if you're a woman who sees this movie, please reach out to me and tell me, because as a guy seeing this movie, I just left thinking to myself, they did a pretty good job. The director walked a tightrope of making sure that Anastasia's character didn't come off as being too flighty or too silly or being in a position where she makes all women look really bad. But I think she reserved enough confidence with the character. Quite frankly, her lip biting got to be a little too much towards the end of the movie, but regardless of such, I still think it was an enjoyable movie nonetheless. So if you end up seeing this movie, male or female, reach out to me and tell me what you think about it. As always, you can reach me on Twitter at CFL_fan, Facebook.com/WittyWhittier, and WittyWhittier.com. Thank you so much for checking out this vlog. And before I tell you that I'll see you at the movies, don't bring kids to this movie. If you're under the age of 18, you probably shouldn't be going to see it. That's just my PSA. Thanks for checking out this vlog, and I'll see you at the movies.